Hello, Denise. How are you? Hi, Susan. Welcome. How is everyone today? Having a good day? What are you guys up to? Any crafting going on today? I'll just wait and see if some more people jump on here. Here's the FedEx man outside. Wonder if he's coming to my house. We have a cul-de-sac across the street. I can see him. My dog hasn't heard or seen him yet, so that's good. So, hi, Marie from France. Oh my goodness! I think you're my first French person to be on. How cool! So let's see. It's about 8 o'clock where you are, I think. So, are you a Stampin' Up demonstrator, or you're a Stampin' Up paper crafter? Anyway, it's great to see you. All right, so I've got lots going on. I'm going to make a card from the catalog today. I'll show you that in a minute. But I'm working on lots of different things at the moment. I've got classes coming up this weekend, and then I'm doing a presentation at an event next week. So I'm working on that. And then I've got my retreat coming up in a few weeks. And so I've got lots going on. I'll give you a quick little sneak peek of the cards that we're making in class, because I'm going to be making those on my Facebook Live next week. So this is one using the little, actually, I guess that's backwards. Let me mirror or unmirror my screen for a second. I don't like doing this because I get all in the muddle, but that way you can read it. And it's a pocket card. Oh, that's a bit bright. It's all backwards. It's a pocket card. This little pocket here, just a corner undoes, and then you've got a little space inside to write. So that's one. And then there's another one. I haven't put a sentiment on this one yet, but this is another one using fresh freesia. Oh, it's a bit bright. I'm holding it right up to the lights. And this one, again, just kind of opens like this. And then you've got a little hedgehog inside. And then another one we're doing is this windmill card. Let's see. And this is a little bit bigger. This is a 5x7. No, it's a 6x4 card. I actually used some Memories and More note cards that I had. So this is the windmill, and then here's one more. I know, sorry, it's a bit bright. I should probably show you them when we're down on my desktop, but the sails actually spin around. So, and then we have a third one which Kristen's designing, which I don't have, she has. So that'll be a surprise for next week. So I'll be showing you how to make those next week. I don't like being mirrored. I look weird. It's so funny. You know, when we look in a mirror and we're used to seeing ourselves mirrored, not how other people see us. And when on the screen, if I unmirror it, it's so weird. It's like I'm backwards or something, but it's probably like you're really seeing me. So you're probably seeing me mirrored now, which looks weird to you. But anyway, it's hard though, because you have to move everything the opposite direction to which you would normally. So it's easier for me to just mirror myself, if that makes sense. So anyway, those are the cards, and then I've got some new products to show you in a little bit. I was going to kind of take a break about halfway through and show you those, but let's go down to my desk and I'll show you what we're going to make today. So let's see, let me just go turn off this one light. I'm always trying to find the perfect lighting or the perfect spot to film. So I moved everything around again in my office, but I've got a light right above me that's an old, it's a fan with 4 different lights, and so they shine right down on the desk. So I'll just turn those off. So anyway, today, so do you remember I forgot to grab the cards that we made last week, but do you remember the cards that I made last week? I had a little bit of stenciling around the outside, and I mentioned that I've not used them, that they have some layering stencils in them, but I'd not tried the layering stencils yet. So that made me think that maybe I should. So in the catalogue on page 65, you've got these butterflies and flowers layering decorative masks. And I'm actually going to make this card right here. And so I'll show you. I actually made one yesterday. So here it is. So that's the one I'm going to make, and then I'm going to do, I did kind of a stepped up version, so I'm going to show you that too. I'm not going to actually make that because I don't think there'll be time, but I will show you how I did it. So the masks, just put my catalogue away here. So they're called Butterflies and Flowers Layering Decorative Masks. And you get a number of different ones. So there's a couple, I've got them all caught together. Okay, you've got a butterfly one that is a layering one that I didn't use yet, but that's very pretty. And then there's these flower layering ones, which are the ones I'm going to use today. I'm going to be use both of these today. And then there's some other ones that are not layering. There's this one, and this is the one that we used last week around the edge of the card, I think. And then there's this one. Now this one's a bit tricky because it's quite, it's very kind of flexible. So you have to be careful when you're sent to be very gentle. And then there's this one, which is really pretty, and I'm going to use this one today also. So in fact, I'm going to start out with this one. So I'm going to try and give you some kind of tips along the way on, to make it a little bit easier to use. So what I like to do, actually, is I like to use my Stamparatus because I've got everything confined. That's a bit bright, isn't it? Let me see if I can turn this down just on me. Oh, that's better, maybe. Let me see if I can just turn this down just a touch. Give me just a second. Let's see here. Oops, going up, not down. Or maybe it's this one I need to adjust. Well, we'll see how we do. Yeah, so I like, because I've got everything kind of confined, and the other really nice thing about the Stamparatus is it does not move. It's got kind of rubber feet on the bottom and it stays in place. So I've got a piece of basic white cardstock, and it's a little bit bigger than a card base. It's actually 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Did I say bigger than a card base? I meant smaller. So it's going to layer onto this piece, this Misty Moonlight card base like this. The nice thing about the Stamparatus too is I can use my magnets for a little bit of extra help to hold things still. So I'm just going to put this stencil Now, one thing you can do, if you're not using your Stamparatus, one thing that's useful to do is to tape it down from the back, because I want to get the stenciling all over, so I don't want any tape on the front. So what you can do actually is take a little bit of our purple washi tape, masking tape, some kind of low tack tape that's not going to tear your cardstock. And we can just put a little piece. Now, if you're not going all the way to the edge on your cardstock, it doesn't really matter. But I don't want, I've got a very narrow spot here to put tape, so this way. But I can put a little bit actually. That's if you're not using your Stamparatus. I can put a little bit here just to hold it still, but I could also use my magnet. But that'll really make sure that the paper's not going to move under the stencil. Now I'm going to grab I need my Misty Moonlight, and I've got my blending brush. Now I use, let's see, where's my blue blending brush? Oh dear. Let's see, I must have put it away. I've got my light blue, I need my dark blues, purple. Oh, here it is. So I have a blending brush for each family, and there's a couple that I have two of. So for blues, I have a light blue and a dark blue. So I'm just going to get some ink on my brush, and then I've got some kind of I'm going to put my ink on the other side, I think, actually. And then I've got some paper here that I can kind of tap off on or clean off. So I'm going to just get some ink on my blending brush, and then I'm going to just tap it a little bit to get the excess off, and then I'm just going to go in and start blending. The nice thing about using the Stamparatus is this grid paper, I can just change it out whenever it gets messy, but I do like that it stays put. Now you could just take, if you don't have a Stamparatus, you could just tape this stencil to your work surface, as long as you're using like a low tack tape that you're not worried about. Now, one thing to be careful about is you are going to get ink on your fingers, so you want to be careful not to transfer that to somewhere you don't want it. And one thing you can actually do is you can take a post-it note, a little post-it note, and you can put your fingers on the sticky part and kind of use this to hold down the stencil a bit more, and that way you don't have to worry about transferring ink anywhere. So I think that's probably good. It doesn't have to be perfectly even. Put my blue blending brush away, close up my Misty Moonlight ink. Let's have a look. This is the most fun part, the big reveal. So that's very pretty. I'll turn this light down. See if I can, that's better. Oh, that's better, I think. So that's that part, and I can go ahead and set that to one side, and we'll do the assembly later. All right, now to clean off, what I like to do is take my chamois. So I've got my chamois here, and I rinsed it out beforehand, so I was sure it was clean. And then I can just wipe this. In fact, I'm going to move it off to one of my white paper here, and I can just clean it off. And I can just set that aside to dry. The nice thing is, because these are all water-based inks, they come off really easily. Okay, put my chamois away for a second. All right, so now let's work on the flowers. Now I've got a slightly smaller piece of basic white cardstock. The exact size doesn't matter, because we're going to die cut it with, let's see, here's my dies. We're going to cut it with one of these scalloped contours dies, I'm going to use this one. So as long as your piece of paper is a little bit bigger than that, you are good. And then I need my layering flowers. Just grab those. So now you want to do this flower first. This is going to be your base layer, your bottom layer. So you're going to grab your lighter ink and do this one first. So I'm just going to position this. I'm going to look at my sample here, and I can see that this flower here I want on the left and this one on the right. So this is the right position. So I'm going to put that down in the middle, and then I'm going to grab what I like to use for this. Now you can use Post-it tapes, you can use masking tape. I have this Post-it tape on a roll. Hi Terry, there's a few more people jumped on. Terry, hi there, how are you? Good to see you. Yeah, this is Post-it. It's just like Post-it note, but it's on a roll, and I find it really useful, and I like it's a little bit thicker. It's about, I think it's an inch thick. Does it say? Yeah, it's 1 inch. I think you can get a wider one too. I like to use this because I can kind of mask and hold down at the same time. So I'm going to take a few pieces, and the nice thing is I can kind of use this over and over too. So I'm going to put a piece to hold this down like this. Actually, I need a longer piece. So I need, let's see here, I need to mask off this flower because I don't want to get this flower done. And then I can make sure that that corner sticks down onto the cardstock. I need to mask this flower off too. So I'm going to do the same here. I'm going to mask this flower off, but also stick it down to the card base. And then I want to do kind of longish pieces around here because I don't want to get ink. I don't want to go off the edge of the stencil and get ink on the so I probably don't need to do this. I might just do it just to be on the safe side, but probably don't need to. But, as long as you're careful. So now I'm ready to go. So now my first color, the colors I'm going to use here are, and I'm just copying exactly what they did in the catalog. I'm using Petal Pink and Calypso Coral. So Petal Pink for the first one. So I open up my Petal Pink here and grab my pink blending brush. Now this one I used yesterday on darker pinks, so I'm gonna kind of wipe off here. See if this is in, I can move this down a little bit more. Maybe I can zoom out just a touch. Oops, I'm zooming me out and not the... So I'm going to rub off here to make sure I've got most of the pink off. And then I'm going to ink up with my Blushing Bride. And in I go. Now this doesn't have to be really perfect sponging because sponging, because don't forget there's going to be a layer that goes on the top. So, and because I've got these areas masked off, I don't have to worry about going, getting ink where I don't want it. All right, I think that's good. Close up that one. Now I'm going to move on to Calypso Coral. And I don't need to worry about cleaning off my brush at this point because I'm going to a darker color. If I'm going back to a lighter one, I need to. But let's take this off. Look how pretty that is. Now, when I first started using this, it was a bit tricky trying to figure out how to line this one up. The key is don't rotate it at all. Just slide it. So I had it like this. You're just going to slide it just like that. So let me move out that So if you see, and what I'm going to do is do you see here there's three little circles. There's one here, there's one here, and there's one here. And it's that one, and that one. That's what I'm going to line up. So I'm just going to move this back over here a little bit. So I've got my three, might get my head in the way if I do, sorry. I really want to try and get as close as I can. And I might just take your time. See, let's see, not quite. Okay, I think that's about as close as I'm going to get. There's always one little white piece that shows up here. Basically, you're trying to cover as much of the white as you can. Then I'm just going to move these pieces of Post-it tape so I can reuse them. This one up here. And this one I'm just going to mask off this flower right here. So how many of you have used these stencils, or have these and have used them? Any of you? The great thing is about these, they're a very low price point. I forget how much they are. They're maybe like $8, $10 at the most, I think. And you can use them. Now, let me just ink up on my Calypso Coral and I can talk while I brush. There's a lot of different designs they give you, plus you can use them for a lot of different techniques. I think you've seen me doing, you can use your Versamark pad and then actually emboss with them, heat emboss, and you can use embossing paste. And in fact, I was thinking as I was getting ready for today that it would have been fun to do embossing paste on that back Misty Moonlight layer that we just did. But never mind, we'll do something like that another time. So that's my Calypso Coral. So let's see how it's looking here. Are you ready for the big reveal? Oh, look how pretty. Isn't that beautiful? I love that color combination too. Now we need to do the leaves. So if you, I've got my little leaves here. And in fact, when I looked at the catalog this morning, I realized I'd missed out some of the leaves. Here, I don't know if you can see, but they've done the dark leaves and then they've done the light ones. So we'll try and do both today. And see if I can figure out how to line up. The leaves were a bit tricky to line up. So let me grab the other layering stencil, which has the leaves on it. So what I figured out was in the picture they had this part with the three leaves that are all together. That was at the top. So put my magnet on here to hold this down. And basically you need to cover up the whole flower. So that's how those ones go. But I think we'll do the light ones first, because that way I can go from light ink to dark ink. So let me see if I can figure out. So it might be just the same, that we just scoot over to the right without... Hi, Connie. Good to see you. Yeah, so that seemed to work. You see how this was like this, and then if, like with the flowers, you just move to the right and don't actually rotate anything, it looks like this will, maybe not, maybe like this. I think that's right. It's a bit hard to see, but I'm going to go for it. I think that's right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this magnet in the middle just for a second. So that's what's nice about using the Stamparatus too, is I can use it to hold things down. Now I'm going to take my tape again. I'm going to mask off these areas. So it is a bit fiddly, you know, it's a bit of a labor intensive with all the tape, but I think it's worth it for the end result. And let's see, let's mask off this little bit here. And where else do I need to do? Maybe, I think I'll be okay if I'm careful. I got to make sure that I avoid, I'll just do that piece right there. And I got to make sure I avoid the bit in the middle. So let's go for it. Okay, so I'm going to do Pear Pizzazz. So I'm going to grab my green, and I was using dark on here yesterday, so I'm going to make sure I had Old Olive, I think it was Old Olive, or Granny Apple Green, actually, I tried. So let's make sure that's, all right, now let's do these leaves. So this is Pear Pizzazz, and I'm going to go for quite a light touch. I want it quite light, like they did on the card in the catalogue. So here goes. A bit more ink. I'm being careful not to touch that flower in the middle. Actually, what I did on the sample card, I actually got green ink. I forgot to cover the flower in the middle, and I got green ink on my flower, but I put the sentiment over the top. So there's always a way to fix it. All right, I think that's good for the Pear Pizzazz, and then I'll do the other leaves with, so let's take this off. Oh, I got a little bit there, but that's okay. The sentiments, I've got a little bit of orange there, but the sentiment will go over, so not to worry. So that's the line. So that lined up pretty good. I've got a little tiny gap there, but I think that's fine. And then let's do these darker leaves. All right, so again, I just kind of scooted it. I'm scooting left to right. I'm not doing any rotating, and that way it's easy to line up. So then this goes, I think, just about like that. Let's put that in the middle again, get my tape. Some long pieces. So it's good fun. I like stenciling. It's fun to see I like the big reveal at the end. So this is where I got into trouble yesterday, because I ended up getting ink in this part right here. So I've got to be a little bit careful. I think it was just there, maybe a little piece there too. Maybe I can use this one. Just tear it in half. There. All right, now we will do Old Olive. All right, so again, I don't need to clean off my brush because I've been using, let's put this over here, a lighter color. And I'm just going to so you're all very quiet. Am I mesmerizing you all? All right, I think that's good. Now what I did on the one that I made yesterday, actually, because I forgot to do the lighter flowers, I actually did 2 tones. I did Pear Pizzazz, and then I did Old Olive. And what I did was I didn't move the stencil, and I took a sponge dauber and just did the tip, the base with the sponge dauber with the old olives. So I don't know if you can see, there's kind of a little bit of shading, they're a bit darker at the base. But then I realized this morning that I'd missed some of the leaves. So, okay, so that's all the stenciling for right now. So let's take this apart. Look how pretty! Oh, I love it. Love it. Isn't that beautiful? So much fun. All right, let's clear this stuff away and then we can assemble a card. Oh, so I got to do a little bit of die cutting. Oh, and I am going to clean off my stencils. I'm going to clean off this one. Very pretty. Thank you, Connie. I'm just going to clean off this one because I might, if there's time, I want to show you something else with this one. And on the stepped up card. I can't remember which way I had it, but we'll clean both sides. Sometimes the ink does get underneath, so it's good to clean both sides. You can just take this over to your sink and just run it under the tap. You can use a baby wipe, however you like to. But the nice thing is, like I said, because it's water-based ink, it's very, very easy to clean. And just watch your fingers. Mine aren't too bad, actually. Now I'm going to die cut this really quick. My die cut machine is right behind me, so I'm going to run this through the die cut. I'm not going to bring my machine over here. I'm just going to turn around and run it through really quick. I think it's like at a little bit of an angle maybe. So I'm going to go do that and get that done quickly. All right, so here's this. And then I've got my card base here and my other piece. Okay, I need my blue. I have lost my blue piece, my blue stencil piece. Can you believe that? All right, Gillian, what have you done with it? What have you done? Where have you hidden it? Can anybody see it? That's ridiculous. That is just ridiculous. Where is it? Oh my goodness me. What happened to it? Maybe it's on the floor. Let me look on the floor. Did it fall on the floor? No. Well, that is just the craziest thing. Let's see, where did I know I put it? It's under here with all these. It's not there. Well, that is just crazy. Don't want to do another one. Maybe it got caught on the bottom of my Stamparatus. Let's look. Nope. How strange is that? I mean, there's only a number of places that it could go. That is really odd. Well, what shall I do? Shall I do another one? Or shall I steal the one from here? I know what I'll do is I'll take this off because I know I'll find it later. And we will just use this one. Is it on the back of the flower panel? Oh no, I used Oh my gosh, Denise. I can't believe I did that. I used the wrong piece of paper. Oh my gosh. I can't believe I did that. All right, so what we're going to do, I'm going to dismantle this one that I've already done. Oh my goodness, that is just... Oh dear. Isn't that ridiculous. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm taking off this one that I'd already done. All right, so here, and then I'll make another one for this. So let's see, I've got some, I can't believe I did that. All right, I have done stupider things though. Never mind. All right, so isn't that lovely? So let's get some dimensionals. Oh no, first thing I've got to get my twine. Thank you, Denise, though. I'd have never found that. I would have never figured it out. All right, I've got some linen thread here. I'm going to wrap that around. Let's see, which was the top. This is the top. I'm going to wrap that around a couple of times. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of put my thumb, make sure I've got enough for a bow, and then I'm going to wrap around, and then I'm going to kind of cross down to one lower, and then back up, and then I will tie a knot, and then I can tie a bow. I don't always like to tie a knot and then tie a bow because it makes the knot bigger and kind of bulkier, but the knot here is going to be underneath. It's going to be hidden. So, but it does make it a little bit easier to tie the bow. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm all like flustered now. I can't believe I did that. Now, did no one see me flipping that piece of cardstock over and doing that? Didn't stop me. Never mind. Never mind. All right, then this gets attached to here with dimensionals. 1, 2, 3, 4. Come on, little. I got out the shower this morning and I was going to put my socks on, and I had a little dimensional backing stuck to my foot, like my ankle. They get everywhere, don't they? So let's make sure that this card is the right way up. Okay, there we go. Because that would be the other thing that I would do wrong. So that's that. And then for the sentiment, oh, I don't know what I've done. Oh, here we go. I've got a little piece of pool party, and that die is actually from, oh, I think I put them away. Grab them quickly. I'll show you what I got that die from. It's actually from this die set, and it's this one. So this has lots of really great small die cut shapes. So what I did, I just cut a little piece of pool party and then ran it through under here and got this piece. And then I've got the sentiment is from the Thinking of You, is from this set, which is a celebration stamp set. And this is the $100 level, but I really love it. It's got really great sentiments for all occasions. It's got happy birthday, thinking of you, sympathy, someone who's wonderful, thank you, you're amazing, and then lots of little ones to go inside too. So it's a really great stamp set, and that's with at the $100 level. If you spend $100, you get that free. So let's just stamp this, and I don't have a pad underneath, but I think I'll be all right. I'm going to go for it. There we go. That's that. And then I'm going to stick this on with dimensionals, and it's going to hang over the edge a little bit. So what I need to do is this is already on with dimensionals, so I need to double stack my dimensionals on this side. So let me show you what I mean. I'm going to use mini ones, and I'm just going to put them in the corners because it's going to have to go over that linen thread in the middle. So I don't want to interfere with that. So on this end, I'm going to remove the backings of these two and put two more on. So that's kind of, we're double stacking them, and that way, when I put it over here, they'll stick down onto this part right here. So I'll take the backings off. Hope that makes sense. And then I'm going to kind of move these so they're going up and down. I can arrange them a little bit afterwards. So they're out of the way. And put that on. But yeah, that way this is the same height as this, because this we've got two layers of dimensionals. I can kind of fiddle with that a little bit. Trim this off. Isn't that pretty? Now the last thing to do, and I don't know if they did this in the catalogue. I don't know if they added any. They don't have any gems on, I don't think. But we have these new. We have this new products. We have these lovely new gems that are called Waves Basic Jewels, and these are part of some brand new. Now you are not able to purchase these quite yet, not till March. But I don't know if you can see, they're really lovely. They're lots of different colors, lots of different shades of blue, and they're part of this new collection called the Waves. I forget the name of the collection, but I'll give you a quick sneak peek. There's a new stamp set, Waves of Inspiration. So this is the stamp set. Look at that lovely big wave. And then there's die cut. So these are going to be in the new annual catalogue. But Stampin' Up is kind of doing an early release. Then these are the dies. And so look, there's two great big wave dies. And then there's some sentiment tags. And then you can cut out the, what is that? Oh, my mind's gone blank. What's that bird? Is it a crane? Is that what it is? I think it's my mind's gone blank. But anyway, you can cut that out, and some clouds. And then the paper, a pelican. Thank you, Denise. Oh, you're coming to my rescue today, for sure. So this is the paper. And look how stunning this is. What they did here, see if I can, they apparently poured paint. I forget what they call it now, but they just, poured it from a distance onto the canvas until they got all these wonderful designs, and then they took photos of it. Isn't that beautiful? If you were doing it like a scrapbook and wanted to do like a beach or ocean theme, if you're a windsurfer or a surfer or something like that, wouldn't this be brilliant for that? But yeah, really stunning papers. And then some other interesting colors. So and then there are also some foils, like a blue foil and two shades of blue foils. But I thought this would go perfectly. These embellishments would go perfectly. So let me get them out of the packet here. So I'll take your pick. So now I'm going to have to do another stencil background so I can put my other card back together again. That's funny. Oh well, never mind. So I think I used these ones. All right. So there, and that should look pretty much, let's see, let's compare. Should look pretty much the same as the catalogue. What do you think? I think I did a pretty good job. But I also wanted to show you that I did set things up just a little bit. So let me show you another card that I made. So I also made this one. And so what I did here was I used this, thank you, Denise. I used this, it's called the Hive embossing folder, which is a new one in the mini catalog. I used that in the background. And then I used instead of, what I did was I stenciled the flower and then I cut it out. And I actually stenciled it twice. And the second time I focused just on the smaller flowers and I cut the smaller ones out. And I don't know if you can see, but there's actually, I actually cut out the two smaller ones and kind of, you know, curled up the petals a little bit and stuck them on onto the and I offset them a little bit so it looks like there's kind of more petals. These the greenery is from the Iconic dies, which are these ones. And these, they don't have a stamp set that goes with them. They're just standalone dies. And there's some really great different images here, kind of nature images. The branch is really handy. And then you've got flowers and birds and toadstools and things. So that's what I use for that. But I don't know if you can see, I was going to show you, I did a third layer with the stencils, and I want to show you quickly what I did. Let me see if I've got another piece of my cardstock that I should have used. So I am just going to do a quick job. What I used was I used Blushing Bride. So I'm just going to use one piece to hold this down. I'm just going to go really quickly just so I can show you how I did it. I'm not even going to get out my Stamparatus again. So wipe off my pink. So this is Blushing Bride. I'm not too worried if I go off the edge because I'm going to cut it out, or if I was making this second card. So I don't have to worry so much about having my tape, you know, masking off all the edges. So that's Blushing Bride. Then I'm going to grab Polished Pink and I'm going to move this over like I did before. See, it doesn't matter about these little, I don't know if you can see, but I've got some little splodges here. That doesn't matter because it's going to get cut out. So remember, don't rotate it, just move it over, line up the little circles. And then I'm going to do Polished Pink. And then, before I lift this up, I'm going to grab that stencil that we used last week, which is this one. And I'm going to put that over the top. And I'm not, I guess I can tape it just a little bit. Now I'm going to grab a real red and my red blending brush, and I'm going to go over the top again. So we're kind of doing a stencil over a stencil. And what that's going to do is give a third layer. Now you do need to wash off both of these stencils really well before you go on to use them for something else, because you'll have ink, you'll have a lot of ink on this. See how I've got the stencil pattern on the stencil? So you do need to make sure you clean them off really carefully. So now I'm going to hold it up to the camera and see if you can see, but there's actually a third, can you see there's like a third layer on there, which I think looks really pretty. So that's what I did. If I hold these two together, you can probably see the difference. maybe between this one, which has the third layer on it, and this one. So I think that's something fun to do also. And you could do it with any of the other designs, really. So anyway, I hope you'll give these a try. So yeah, these are, like I say, the price point is very reasonable, and there's so many different fun cards and techniques that you can make with them, and you can, do whatever color you like. The sky's the limit with these. I think they're really fun to play around with. So I hope you'll give something like this a try. Let me know if you do. And so yes, make sure this gets cleaned off really well. And I will have to now go and do another of those blue stencil panels so that I can recreate my other card again. Terry says, I almost ordered them. I now will. Yay, good. Yeah, I think they're really fun. So yeah, let me know if you do. Post some pictures of what you make. Anyway, so I think that's about it. My link to my website and my host code is up the top. I do have a new host code because we closed out. I did a BOGO sale a couple of weeks ago and got some other orders too. So I closed out that host code. So I do have another one just to the end of February. I've got my class coming up this week, so orders from that will go on to there. Don't forget that if you order $50 or more, you'll get a free celebration item. And then you'll get a packet of embellishments. I think it was the polished dots that I was giving away this month. I have to go back and look. Yeah. So anyway, so next week, make sure to tune back in because I'll be making cards from my class this weekend. And hope you all have a great rest of the week. And I will, sorry about my big boo-boo in the middle. But life, that happens. And anyway, I'll see you all next week. Bye for now. Have a great rest of the day.